sold a dining room table to somebody, and they paid me to ship it down to them in Somerset. I'm in Suffolk.
Richard, are you a professional furniture salesman, or was it a private sale?
It was a private sale.
Okay, yep.
And I won't say the company's name, but they broke the table. It was a very unusual, I wouldn't say antique, it was 60-odd years old. But they broke a leg off, quite dramatically broke a leg off, shattered it into pieces.
Yep.
I've got photographs of the table when it left me, and I've got photographs from the guy who I sold it to. He refused the delivery. They've got the table. They want to get it repaired, but it's irreparable. One of their experts has already told me that it's irreparable. And they're just dragging their heels, and they're saying they can't go through their insurance, because it's, in their view, it's repairable. And they've gone very quiet on me. I've got a chain of 35 messages between us, but they've suddenly gone quiet.
Okay. So when did this happen,
and I really
Richard?
want to know where I stand.
When did this happen? When did this happen?
17th of December was the delivery. They picked it up from me, I think, on the 12th.
Fine. And presumably you've already given the money back to the buyer, or you said you would.
I've given the buyer his £700 back.
Well,
yeah.
First of all, good for you, because you've done the right and the moral and the ethical thing. So good for you. You are in luck here. Because you're not a business, the Consumer Rights Act doesn't apply. I was talking about that just a moment ago with, I think it was Jem. The Consumer Rights Act says that if you're a business, the business remains responsible until something is delivered. Because you're not a business, that doesn't automatically apply. But there is a presumption with a private seller that the private seller remains responsible to get the goods delivered.
Right.
Unless the contract says that risk passes to the buyer. And I'm assuming, Richard, you didn't have a written contract.
No.
And I'm assuming, Richard, you didn't agree that the buyer would be responsible for the condition on delivery, because why would you?
No.
Right. That means the responsibility remains with you, which means that if it's smashed up by the delivery company, you are the person who gets to sue the delivery company, not the buyer.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to be sure about, that it wasn't the buyer's problem. Given it's you who has the rights and has the right to sue, it's pretty simple. All you need to do is show that they failed to take reasonable care of your table. Now, was the table particularly delicate, or was it not wrapped? Have they said it wasn't wrapped properly, or?
They haven't said it. I did wrap it. It wasn't. They haven't said it wasn't wrapped properly. They haven't mentioned that in any of their emails or whatever to me. No.
That's a great start, because if you sue them
it was covered in the word fragile as well. I put
even better.
Reels of fragile tape. You've
done everything right here, Richard, and it means that if you sue them for the money. Sorry, how much was the table worth? Did you say?
The table, I sold the table for £740, and their delivery cost was £85.
Fine. So if you sue them for the £740 plus the £85 back. No, it'll just be the £740 actually, because if they delivered properly, you would have paid the £85.
Okay.
But if you sue them for the £740. Then I don't think it'll be very difficult for you to be able to show that they failed to take reasonable care, because it turned up broken. The proof's in the pudding.
You can do this through a small claim.
You can do this through a small claim. And the fact they haven't said up to this point, with 40-odd emails being exchanged, that you hadn't wrapped it properly, means that if they suddenly come up with that as an excuse, no judge is going to believe them. Because if it was true, they would have said it long ago.
They did send me last week a change in their terms and conditions, which indicated that the way I packaged it or wrapped it wouldn't now be acceptable. And I did send them an email saying, you're not retrospectively applying that, are you? And they said no.
Fine. Good. Sounds a bit cheeky, but at least they're not being too cheeky.
I thought it was, yeah.
Richard, you've done the right things. You will get the money back from them. You just may need to issue a claim in the small claims court to get it.
Yeah.
It's one thing having a right. It's another thing enforcing the right. Sometimes you have to enforce your rights.